Father of the Bride. So I was living in Germany, I want to say, when I first saw Father of the Bride in the movie theater with my mom and sister. And I was completely dazzled by this movie. I think I was like 9 or 10 years old. The thing about that movie is I wasn't even thinking about getting married. That wasn't it. It really inspired, I think, girls and women everywhere on falling in love and how are you going to find the one, and am I the right age, and do I have enough money, and it started conversations about weddings, what you liked about this person's wedding, what you didn't like. But like, I would have to say my favorite scene probably is Frank's bridal studio. And at Disney, where I used to work, there was a time that I worked at the Disney World Spa, or the Disney Grand Floridian Spa, and Frank's bridal studio was like right up the way. So sometimes I would drive the golf cart over to Polynesian to go buy food, and I would stop at Frank's bridal studio just because I wanted to look in the window and imagine what it must have been like to actually go to Frank's bridal studio and plan a Disney wedding. And I couldn't afford a Disney wedding, but I had a beautiful wedding and I loved my wedding, but I couldn't justify going into debt or anything. So if you were one of those blessed brides who actually got to go to Frank's bridal studio, well, God bless you, because I used to dream about it and you got to go. But anyways, let's not dwell on the past. Frank's bridal studio, you have to watch that scene. Who is the actor who plays Frank? I want to say he's at Epcot now, right, in Canada? That dude was hilarious. The cock, like, do you guys remember that scene? His accent, it was so terribly perfect is the best way to say it, and he did a great job in that role. So that scene was classic. I loved the actress who played the bride. I don't even remember her name in the movie. I remember Macaulay Culkin's little brother was in that movie. And also, isn't it like Diane Keaton was the main leading actress? I loved her as the mother of the bride. She was the epitome of what you wanted to be. I loved the job that the dad had at the factory creating shoes. It seemed like such a nice to have like a dream life and then this dream wedding, and they just did it so perfectly well, pointing out insecurities like with the father of the bride, with the groom's parents who were mega wealthy, and just assuming that they were rich snobs, and like learning that it was actually a good family and they weren't just rich snobs. And then if you haven't seen Father of the Bride, go watch that. Next movie, 1995, Tom and Huck. I'm going in the order of like my life and when I watched these movies, what order or whatever. So yeah, so I was 9 or 10 with Father of the Bride. I was about 12 years old when I saw Tom and Huck, and it was starring JTT, and I want to say Brad Renfro played Huck, and it had Rachel Leigh Cook, who was not a name, but she made it in my mind as a name. Like she might as well have been like the it girl, because she got to kiss my crush, the man who I thought I was gonna marry, if you could call him a man. He was like in middle school. Like I was in middle school, he was in middle school, but he was starring in Tom and Huck. And you know, I never read the classics like Tom Sawyer, but that movie definitely put the whole concept of Tom Sawyer in my mind. Like I wouldn't, had it not been for the movie Tom and Huck, I would not have known that it was based off a book called Tom Sawyer, because I came from a Colombian background. My parents were immigrants, and the classic American literature just, it wasn't as valued as, I guess, the Bible. Like it was more important to my mom to make sure that I read that book. If I may not have read all the classics, but at least we had the Bible. So, and then my public school education, they didn't make me read no Tom Sawyer. Point is, I knew about Tom Sawyer because of the movie, and Becky Thatcher was played by Rachel Leigh Cook. And she was supposed to be a blonde. Rachel Leigh Cook was a brunette. So Rachel Leigh Cook inspired me because she said that she went into the audition thinking I'm never gonna get this role. I don't even know why I'm bothering, because I'm brunette and I don't look anything like what she was supposed to look like according to the book. And she was right. She didn't look anything like it, but they still cast her. And I thought she was the most perfect Becky Thatcher. I thought she was gorgeous. And I'm so glad they cast her, because that must have been her breakout role. It really put her on the map for me. And I have followed her career ever since. She did Tom and Huck and She's All That. And if all she ever did was those two movies, for me, she's still like one of my favorite actresses that has ever lived. And, you know, that's all she needed to do to be like considered gorgeous and wonderful and amazing to me. So props to you, Rachel Leigh Cook. You inspired me to pursue dreams. So 1996 rolls around and Romeo and Juliet. I think I must have been like 13. I was also in middle school, but I was like older middle school, moving closer to 8th grade. I think I was at least in 7th grade when I saw this movie. And I went to the theaters. The commercial, the trailer for it, you know, by this time it is mid-90s. Clueless has already was phenomenal, by the way, but you know, I'm supposed to be a good little Christian girl, and that had a lot of scandalous things, and it was like shocking for me as a middle schooler. Oh, I saw Clueless, what came out in 1995, by the way. That was also like a big influential movie in my life, but is it the most influential? Does it deserve to make this list? Alicia Silverstone will forever be. Okay, maybe it does, because we're talking about it after all. But anyways, the fashion in Clueless. Look, come on. You're not a 90s girl if you didn't love and want to live the fashion. Cher had the dream closet. And then there was Dion. Okay, yes, we're adding Clueless to the list. Alicia Silverstone was everywhere. She was all over my magazines, my little teen, what was it, 17. I had left Bop magazine for like 17, and I think there was teen. There was no internet, so you just had to rely on these 90s magazines. But anyways, Jessica Alba was also getting discovered, like on the cover of the magazines, getting put on the map for us. I don't know how it is or why we connected with an image. Because she was on that dolphin show too. Let's focus, Jen, focus. The point is, but back to Romeo and Juliet, 1996. It was a fresh take on Shakespeare, and Leonardo DiCaprio was the star. I had never heard of him before. Apparently he had been on Growing Pains, which my sister is 10 years older. She was an 80s queen. The point is, Leonardo DiCaprio got on my map, and I remember everyone was obsessed with him, and I was like, he's old and he smokes cigarettes. Ew. That was my attitude, but at the same time I couldn't help thinking how cool this movie was. It was so, it really brought Shakespeare, frankly. Romeo and Juliet, the story, it really, I don't know that I would have cared about Romeo and Juliet or even understood it had it not been for that film. And Baz Lureman, I thought, did a phenomenal job directing. In my dreams, Baz Lureman would direct me in a film. I don't even know. He's retired, right? It's probably never going to happen. But, he also, Moulin Rouge. Did anyone see Moulin Rouge with Ewan McGregor and Nicole Kidman? But let's not even go there. Baz Luhrmann did that too. Let's not go there. Let's go back to Romeo and Juliet. So Claire Danes was in that movie. Claire Danes got cast opposite so many good-looking guys. Let's just be real here. I don't want my husband to watch this. It's my husband knew about my obsession with Leonardo DiCaprio. He knew. But that is, it was all before I met my husband. So anyways, the point is, Claire Danes wore that white outfit where she was on the balcony with those wings, and then she had her hair down the way she did. If I'm being brutally honest with you guys, I never really thought Claire Danes was the most beautiful actress, which also inspired me too, because I think it's important to know that you don't have to look a certain way to be portrayed or a certain way or to land a certain role in a film. And she's a good actress. Claire Danes is. And so I just have a lot of respect for her. She was also in Little Women, which should also be on this list, but I don't remember what year that came out. I think it was around the same time as Romeo and Juliet. Yeah, she was like a huge, Claire Danes was a huge star in the 90s. I just wasn't, I don't know, I didn't really connect or vibe with her as much as I did like Jessica Alba or Alicia Silverstone, or I don't know. There were other ones that I liked more, because Claire Danes was mature. She was like too mature for me, I guess. So, but I loved her as Juliet. She did phenomenal, and yeah, I watched that movie Into the Ground, and the soundtrack, I still listen to that soundtrack. There's the Angel song by Gavin Friday. I listened to that. I mean, To You, Everything I Bestow by Mundy. And then there was, and it's always you and me, always and forever. Like that whole 90s grunge. I was living for it. So, top most influential movies of the 1990s according to Jennifer Oakes here. Regardless of what you think or how you feel, definitely comment below and let me know if you agree with me or disagree, and how and why and where. So